So it's the 18th of July and this is the cereal rye. It's not quite ripe yet, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I was planning on grazing it with the pigs, but it got too far away. There you go. Still a way off yet. Anyway, moved the pigs over here yesterday, back from that side of the field where they've been for 4 weeks. So they were on this bit here 4 weeks ago. They moved out. We've had a fair bit of rain in those 4 weeks. The month before that, so middle of May to middle of June, we didn't get any rain at all, and it was hot and sunny most days. And since then we've had a few nice days, but mostly it's been wet and cloudy. So that's where they were 4 weeks ago. The fence was across, so that was where we are now 3 weeks ago, and this is recovered pretty well. So what did I say, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, and then 6 weeks. It's a pretty good crop of clover here, and they'll be moving in here. I don't know if they'll probably be a week maybe where they are now. The bit where they are now, there's no clover. There is chicory and there's grass, and I'm planning on getting in here when they finished. And you can see they only put me in here yesterday afternoon, and it's only about 8 o'clock in the morning now. They've already dug a little bit. You can see how the ground's really quite moist now. There's only 3 left. 2 of them went. They're supposed to go for a carnival on Saturday, but that got cancelled due to the weather. So I've got, obviously the pigs had already gone before I knew it was cancelled, so I've got them in the freezer, and these 3 are left. So alright, I'll feed you. Right, so there they are over there, and that's where all the red clover is and cereal rye, and then this is where they've been for the last 4 weeks. Over this side I've not topped that. So a lot of chicory and westerwolds in there. The chicory is starting to flower, so I've left it. Obviously there's a few docks flowering as well, but it's a bit rough to get in there and top it. But I did come in and rotivate this bit. They must have moved out of here about 3 weeks ago, and I just lightly rotivated the top. I just skimmed the surface, and I sowed stubble turnips, some fodder or forage rape, some fodder radish, a little bit of chicory, a little bit of Westerwolds ryegrass, and we've had rain almost every day since. There's a little bit of flea beetle damage, and there's quite a lot of weed, but it's getting away from the weed. It should take off now, hopefully. Now it's got its true leaves, and I don't think the flea beetle damage is too bad. There's more rain forecast, so it's not going to get too dry, that's for sure, this year, like it did last year in July. So here are all these lambs. I'm starting to talk now. They'll think I'm going to move them, which I am. They've just been on this piece for 24 hours. And on that piece above for 24 hours before. This is where I made the hay on the last day of May. So about 6 weeks ago. They have grazed it once. Well, there was, say grazed it. There was nothing here when they came in about 2 weeks after I cut it, but they did come over it. But it's pretty good regrowth. Although, like I said, it's rain nearly every day. Some lambs really growing now. Getting bigger. Doing well. Still pretty clean, which is good. Moving them, well, I was moving them every 2 or 3 days when it was really dry, giving them a bit bigger bit, but now moving them every day again. So they're going on to this bit now, but this did get, this has been grazed, where they were lambing in this field, and then it was grazed once more about a month ago. So it was grazed sort of middle of May, middle of June, and now middle of July. So we're looking at around about 5 weeks rotation for the sheep at the moment, and loads of grass, and it's regrowing behind them really fast as well. So they're all here still on one strand. I haven't had any problems for the last month of any jumping out, so that's good. They're probably going to put a bit of pressure on the fence here now, but it's still on, but I'm going to move them, and I can't do that with one hand. I can't. This is a reel this end, so I've got to pick it up and move it. And they're only moving into a narrow strip. The fence is just there. They'll be here for a day, so I'll get this fence moved and then I'll show you what that looks like. There they are. Last one coming round. So I'll just put that back over. I mean, I say it's on, but there's so much growth, and this fence is connected to the mains and it goes all the way out around the pigs and everywhere. There's barely a tickle in it at the moment, which is not ideal. I've probably got to get around and check it, because it's touching growth so many places now. The last couple of weeks, the grass has just gone crazy underneath the fence everywhere. So it does run over quite a long way. I'm gonna have to go and check it, but there's barely anything in it. But they're still staying behind the one strand for now. But it is a bit of a risk. So yeah, I need to get that sorted out. Okay, so that's where they are now. That's where they just were a few minutes ago. A few seconds ago actually, and this is where they were 24 hours ago, and you can see why I'm moving them every 24 hours. So look at the regrowth here. They were here from 48 hours ago until 28 hours ago, and there's a good inch regrowth on most of the grass here. You can even see the difference in the colour of the line. Look at it here. If I'd left them in here for 48 hours, so they had this bit as well, that would have all gone. They'd have had all that regrowth. I mean, this is where they were. I've just let them out of here, and you can already see, you know, what they grazed yesterday morning. There's an inch of regrowth there already. There's a few thistles in here as well. A bit more than what I thought there was actually. When I cut the hay, I didn't think there was very many thistles in this bit. That would be a bit of a pain, so I made small bales out of them. Anyway, they're respecting the fence for now. This is just a corner bit here that I did. So you can see that's what they were in on yesterday. And that was what I cut for hay. And then this bit I didn't cut for hay. And you can see there is a lot more grass there, but it's not quite the same quality. A little bit, some drier stuff in it as well, but there's still lots and lots of feed down in below. So there we go, that's the strip that they've got there. And I'll leave them in this bit for 24 hours and then I'll move them down. No, this part of the field. We'll do them another 2 days. It's probably just over half an acre. And there's 100 lambs and about 60 ewes. Most of the lambs now are eating as much as the ewe, I expect. That's where they were a few days ago. I have topped a bit of it, and I haven't topped that bit up there just to see the difference. And the bit over the far side there was less grass there anyway. This bit there was loads here because they didn't eat this off quite so well a month ago. Yeah, because the reason I gave them a bigger piece when they were in this bit last time was because it was so dry. We hadn't had any rain for a month, and the grass had stopped growing. I mean, it's growing like crazy now, but it had stopped growing a month ago in the middle of June. And you think, well, what if it does stay dry for another month? Obviously I didn't need to think that, but you know, you always do think about this when it's dry. It doesn't happen very often here, that's why. So you know, I didn't eat it too tight, and then obviously with the rain it's just gone crazy, so that's why I've got so much. It looks like wastage, but it'll just all rot down and become part of the soil structure. There's no exact science to it. It's sort of like just go by eye. Sometimes you give them too much, sometimes you don't give them enough. Especially when it's growing really fast, you know, it's really difficult to keep on top of the grass. 24 hours later. So it's 8 o'clock now on the 19th of July. This is how I'm finding the sheep. They're all lied down happy. Obviously a little bit more content than they were yesterday morning. Giving them about the same size piece, but there's probably a little bit more grass in this bit. Yeah, you see they haven't got up and come to me this morning like they did yesterday morning. But they will in a minute when I give them a call. And this is where they were yesterday. And they're definitely regrowing. It's already starting to regrow this side of the fence as well. Won't regrow quite so much on this longer stuff. They haven't ate it down. Probably could have got away with giving them a bit less, but we have got a lot of grass, so I'm not that worried. So I'll give them a call now. They should all come over. Come! Sheep, 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 sheep! Sheep, 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 sheep! I didn't need too much encouragement, did they? So this reel is a little bit easier to move with one hand. I'm just going to give it a go. Sheep, 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 sheep! Hardly any wind this morning as well, which is nice. So this is it. This is all that's kept them back. What is it? Halfway up my boot. Wouldn't take anything really for them to jump over it. Sheep, 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 sheep! So I'll wait for most of them to get over here. The lambs are pretty well trained now. They've been doing it a long time. Well, they've been doing it all their life, but they're sort of 2 months old now, so they've got the hang of it. Obviously not been moving them every day, but when they see them here, coming back behind, it's a temptation for them to jump the fence. So obviously these now are coming around, and these are still here. But hopefully, some days the odd one will get excited and go for the fence. But this white line is a lot easier for them to see. They do it on the metal one. They hardly ever do it on the white one. They're already filing through. So I split this in half now. There's a metal wire there to stop them to the bottom half of the field. One lamb left. Go on. There we go. This is where we get a problem now. Okay, so yeah, that's what happens if you don't keep the back one up, which is a bit of a worry if that learns. I wasn't paying attention there. I usually keep them off a bit better. But anyway, it happens, and hopefully she doesn't learn to do that when the rest of them aren't on the other side. That's when you get problems. There we are. And I'll shift them again like that tomorrow, and so on and so on and so on. So they even though they were lied down and content, they're all eating right now, which they wouldn't have been if I'd given them a whole piece and left them 3 days. Obviously they'd have gone over and eaten the best of it off, and then the next day they'd be wandering around looking for bits of regrowth and bits they'd missed, and by the 3rd day they'd be getting a bit annoyed that they were still on the same area. So moving them every day has benefits for the grass regrowth, but also benefits for the sheep. They just eat more grass, and the more they eat, the more they'll grow. You can see here's I don't know if you can see very clearly the the fence line, but it is quite low. I probably could get away with putting it up one more. Now, I did have lambs going under when I put it up one more, and it's easier to stop them jumping than it is to stop them going under. Once they start going under, it's very, very difficult to stop them. I found anyway. But if they jump, then you can stop them by putting it higher or putting a second line, just temporarily will stop them. And then you can go back to the one again. But if they start going under, you got a lot of problems. Or I have anyway. So with it raining pretty much every day, I don't need to cart water for them now. Even though it is the middle of July, the water is still over there, so probably about 5 or 6 days since they had any water. But even when they had it there, they didn't drink any, because the grass is just completely wet all the time, pretty much. So they don't need to drink water even though they're producing milk. So there we go, they'll go and fill up and they'll lie down, and then this afternoon they'll come and have another fill up, do the same, and then again. And tomorrow morning they'll all be lie down content, and I'll shift them through to the last little paddock in this field, and next day they'll be on the next field. Right, there we go. I'll see you directly.